All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. ESPN and Mike Clay released their 49er 2024 projections. We will go through their 10 points coming up next and see how many we agree with and how many we disagree with. Of course, this video brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. And this video is also brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, along the Monterey Peninsula. Give my friend Anthony Catania a call at 831-521-5264. Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles, your sports cards and collectibles dealer for all of your needs. All right, let's talk a little bit about ESPN has released their 2024 projections for the 49ers. Mike Clay released projections for every NFL team, including the Niners, and he goes through 10 points around the 49ers, and let's just go through them one by one. We'll start with number one. He says Brock Purdy will take a step back, at least statistically. He said last season, Purdy passed for 4,280 yards. He had 31 touchdowns, 11 picks. Clay has Purdy slightly worse this year, passing for 3,899 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. It's possible that Purdy can be down a little this year statistically and still have a better season than he did a year ago. I disagree. I just think that it's very likely that Brock Purdy, after having his first full offseason healthy, is going to have his best year. So I think there's a very good chance that he throws for over 4,000 yards again, over 30 touchdowns, and under 10 interceptions. I'll say more like 35 touchdowns, 8 picks, something like that. He's got 24 and 11. I'll say 35 and 8. And why is he taking a step back? There's no logical reason he should take a step back. He's got better weapons. Last year he didn't have an off season. This year he does. Last year he didn't have field time. This year he does. So to me, he's in his prime. He's stronger. He's smarter. He knows the offense better. There's no reasonable, logical reason that he should take a backslide this year, production wise, in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not going to predict it. So number one, I would say, disagree. Number two, he says Christian McCaffrey will have another big season. He says, will McCaffrey top his season last year? Not according to Clay, but he'll come close, going for 1,243 yards on the ground and 12 touchdowns, catching 67 passes for 527 yards and 4 more touchdowns. Those numbers aren't far off of what he did last year when he won the Offensive Player of the Year award. I think that's reasonable. He's going to have another big year. Will it be as big? Probably not, just because there's more mouths to feed and the ball will be spread around a little bit more. But I think Christian likely is going to have another big year. So I agree. Point number 3, Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel will be about the same statistically. Clay's got Ayuk having a down year, 75 catches for 1,068 yards compared to last year. We had 75 catches for 1,300 yards. Clay has Deebo around the same as last year, 62 catches for 924 yards compared to last year. He had 60 catches for 892 yards. And he has Clay also has Samuel with less rushing yardage in 2024 and fewer attempts. I'll probably agree. I'd probably agree there just because you add Pearsall, you add Cowing, you add some runners. I think overall that's probably spot on. I think Deebo's going to have about the same year. I think Ayuk is going to have a good year, but not quite as many receiving yards as he had a year ago. That'd be my guess. Because you got Cowing and you got Pearsall. Number 4, he says Ricky Pearsall will outperform Jawan Jennings. He says perhaps the biggest surprise is that Clay has Ricky Pearsall with 29 catches for 385 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jennings will have 15 catches for 196 and 1 touchdown. Last season, Jennings had 19 catches for 265 and 1 touchdown, but he played at a much higher level in the playoffs. I think Pearsall is definitely going to outperform Jennings. I just think Pearsall's got incredible versatility. He looks great on the practice field with Purdy. He's got great ball skills, good route runner, can get himself open, can run a lot of the short intermediate routes. I think he'll be a check down option at times for Brock. I agree. I would say Pearsall is going to wind up with even more catches than 29. I'll say 39. I'll say 39 catches and 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns is a lot, but I would say 39 catches, maybe 5 or 6 touchdowns. But I think he'll outperform Jennings. Number 5, he says Jacob Cowing won't make an impact as a rookie. So Clay doesn't think that he'll be the dynamic producer. He has Cowing with 3 catches for 38 yards. He's got Danny Gray with 2 catches at 19 yards and Ronnie Bell with no catches, no yards. I think Cowing I think he's totally wrong on this one. I think this guy makes an instant impact. Why? Because he's got great ball skills. He can separate vertically. He plays with a quarterback that wants to attack downfield. He's going to be their downfield guy who separates. Danny Gray, don't have a lot of hope for Danny Gray. Ronnie Bell, not quite as explosive. I think Cowing was very dynamic at UTEP, equally dynamic at Arizona. I think he steps right into the Niner offense and is their downfield threat. So I think he's going to have more than 3 catches for 38 yards on the year. I'd say he's going to be good for 12 to 15 catches this year. Maybe more. Isaac Guerendo and Ronnie Bell will be the leading return men. So that's number 6. Clay's got the rookie Isaac Guerendo as the Niners' leading kick returner, and Bell being the team's top punt returner. I don't know about that. I don't know how that's all going to shake out as far as the kick returner. This is all new territory. As far as kick returner, punt returner, it's just difficult to say. I would say punt returner wise, I'd probably go with Ricky Pearsall. Kick returner wise, maybe Guerendo, maybe Cody Schrader. I don't know. That one, I'll just beg off that one. I really don't know if Guerendo and Bell on paper look good, but I don't know. I don't know if that's if that's actually the way it's going to shake out. I think Guerendo, because of the presence of Schrader, is going to have a really hard time making the team, and I think Ronnie Bell, because of the presence of Cowing and Pearsall, is going to have a really difficult time making the team. So I'm not even convinced that either of those guys make the team, and I like them both. All right, number 7, he says Nick Bosa will barely have double-digit sacks. Wow, another surprise. Clay has Bosa with only 10 sacks this year, down a half sack from last year. Clay has Ford, Leonard Floyd with 7.5 sacks, down 3 from last year. He's projecting the 2 to have only 17.5 combined. There's no way. I'd say Nick Bosa is good for 13 sacks. I think Nick Bosa is going to bounce back in a big way. You got to remember, last year they didn't really have anybody with any consistency off the other edge, and he still wound up with 10.5 sacks. And now with better DBs, with another guy on the other side who's going to flush the quarterback sometimes into his lap, I think 13 sacks is what we're looking at for Bosa. So I disagree there. And I think Floyd's going to have 10. I think those guys are going to have combined for more like 23, not 17.5. Number 8, he says Dre Greenlaw will be healthy at some point. He says despite Dre Greenlaw's Achilles injury during the Super Bowl, Clay has him playing 509 total snaps compared to 848 last season and making 73 tackles. No chance. No chance. This guy you got to remember, he blew out his Achilles on February the 11th. I would say if he's playing before Thanksgiving, I'll be shocked. Then there's no way he's going to wind up with 509 tackles or 509 snaps compared to 848 from a year ago. He's not going to be around to play that many snaps. I think he plays after Thanksgiving, potentially, and he gets nowhere near 509 snaps. Number 9, he says Ambry Thomas will play ahead of younger corners. Now, this is interesting. The corner competition is going to be fierce. I mean, if you look at what the Niners have at corner, they got lots of bodies. Most teams go with 5 NFL corners. They've got Mooney Ward, Demo Lenore, they have rookie Renardo Green, Ambry. They also have Isaac Yiadom coming off a good year with the Saints, Samuel Womack, Darrell Luter, Chase Lucas, Rock Ya-Sin, Keeman Hall. They've got guys. They've got all kinds of bodies at corner. I think Renardo Green and Isaac Yiadom are going to play in front of Ambry Thomas. I think Luter and Womack also are going to be right there. I don't believe that Ambry Thomas is going to play 534 snaps this year. I really don't. With Renardo Green at 224 and Yadam at 160 and Rock Ya-Sin at 32 and Womack and Luter less than that, no. No, I think Ambry Thomas will not play that many snaps ahead of the younger corners. And number 10, the 49ers will get to 12 wins and be ranked first in the NFL. Clay believes the 49ers will have another outstanding regular season with 12.4 projected wins. He's got the Niners offense ranked 5th overall, the defense listed as 4th overall. So he's got both the offense and defense in the top 5. The team's overall ranking is set at number 2. I do agree with this last one. I think 12 wins is reasonable. I think they will be, best record in the NFC, number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. So, he's got some good ones here. I agree with they'll go to 12 wins and be the number 1 team in the NFC. Disagree that Ambry's going to play ahead of the young corners. Disagree that Greenlaw is going to play 509 snaps. Disagree that Bosa's barely going to get double-digit sacks. Disagree that Garendo and Bell will be the leading return man. Disagree that Cowing will not make an impact as a rookie. I believe he will. I do agree that Ricky Pearsall is going to outperform Jawan Jennings. I do agree that Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel's numbers statistically will be very, very similar to one another. I do agree that Christian McCaffrey will have another big season at running back. And I disagree that Brock Purdy is going to take a step back statistically this year. I think he's going to continue to get better, and I think he's going to find a new level, a higher level than we've seen thus far. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring this video, and thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.